Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to Being Conscious. In this series of different planets and how each planet affects our individual consciousness, today we will talk about the planet Saturn. Planet Saturn is a planet which most people fear. Most people are scared of this particular planet. But today we are going to talk about the positives of it, because my intent behind this channel is not to spread fear, is best to channelize positivity, is to create portals of consciousness to such a level of influence that people are not scared of this thing. Instead, they can use the knowledge to expand the level of awareness, the level of consciousness. Now today, let's talk about planet Saturn. Now planet Saturn is a planet which is the farthest from the planet Sun, which basically means this is a planet which is very cold, which is very dry, and planet Saturn is all about the tough times in life. Nietzsche told it really well when he said, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." I repeat that with full conviction at my disposal. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So every time you are feeling that life is getting heavy, know that it's the playground, it's the battleground for you to become stronger, more better. Now, when we talk about Saturn, Saturn is like a bulletproof jacket, right? You have so much of strength within your will, within your own understanding, that nothing really affects you. Saturn also represents non-resistance. What does non-resistance mean? So when you are resisting something, there's a lot of pressure. But non-resistance to the ego, when you allow things to function the way, and you don't try to be egoistic and push around things, that's where planet Saturn smiles at you. Now let me narrate a story which I heard from the book Stillness Speaks by Eckhart Tolle. Now there was a person who was quite saintly, and there was a bad rumor which was spread across the town that this person is is involved in a heinous, treacherous crime towards a girl. Now, though there was no merit in this particular accusation, the guy, because of his saintly nature, smiled and said, "Is it so?" Because when you say, "Is it so?" he said, "Is it so?" He didn't have any anguish, any resentment, any feelings of anguish, anger, or hurt. He said, "Is it so?" And there was stillness in his words. There was a certain sense of calmness within. And because of the sense of stillness, because of the sense of calmness within, he felt a certain sense. He was not having any kind of resistance. Now, normally, if it were you and me or someone with underdeveloped level of consciousness, if such a person gets affected, he really gets offended, right? He either contracts his consciousness or is able to respond appropriately. But this person said, "Is it so?" Now, sooner, after some days, it was revealed to the people that this person was not accused, this person was not guilty of what he did. Now, this is a powerful example of what non-resistance can do. When somebody destroys your ego, don't resist it. Don't try to prove otherwise. Let it happen. Because non-resistance to the ego is the greatest secret of the universe. Because Saturn, remember, debilitates in the house of Aries. When you try to show yourself up, Saturn doesn't like that. So be secretive. Focus on developing yourself. Focus on having a path. Work really hard towards your mission. But remember to not have arrogance. Remember to not have a sense of ego within you. Let there be a certain sense of stillness, a certain sense of calmness which exists within your consciousness. When stillness and clarity is dawned upon you, Saturn smiles at you. Because now you're deeply focused and you don't really take anything personally, which is probably not something which affects you. You constantly work on yourself, you constantly work hard towards your goals, towards your mission, and that's the philosophy of planet Saturn. Now, this might be really difficult for some of us in Kali Yuga, right? Because we normally want people to appreciate us, people to say that you're great, but remember, what you do in silence is what truly defines you. Because when you are doing something in silence, and what you are truly is what you're doing in silence. Your true identity is revealed when you are all alone. Because when you are all alone, what you're doing defines your character. This is a very deep point which I just said. What you are alone defines your character. Because when you are doing something which is not good while you are alone, like gossiping, cheating, creating hurdles for other people, creating loopholes in other people's life, Saturn doesn't like that because your intent is not pure. But when your intent is to do good, great for the world, and you do it secretively, you don't let the world knows. Now, if the world comes to know from their own investigation, that's a different thing. But there are people out there who make a lot of noise when they do something good. When they propagate goodness, they put it in their WhatsApp media, in their social media. So that is not what you need to do. Saturn really admires secrecy. Saturn really admires humility. Be humble, be down to earth. Because when you are grounded, when you are down to earth, God and nature smiles at you. And you are constantly in your own consciousness and you are constantly working towards your goals without any sense of unease. That's when Saturn smiles at you. Because when you're humble, when you're always on the ground, nobody really can harm you. Because you are not elevated to begin with. You are already seated in the ground. That's the power of planet Saturn. I want to keep this planet video short and crisp. And remember, be consistent and have infinite patience. When you have infinite patience, in a way, you become invincible. Because the world is filled with impatient people. The world is filled with people who lose patience at the spark of a moment. But if someone has infinite patience, that person is invincible. That person is like the peepal tree which exists for years together. And that person continues to give oxygen, and that person continues to give shade to all the people around him unconditionally, without any need for approval. That is the power of planet Saturn. And when planet Saturn smiles at you, you become a man of steel, a true Iron Man in every sense. Thank you so much for your time on my video. Hope this video serves you well. Thank you and take care. Bye.